Why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. To understand why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India, we need to look at its constitutional powers, its place in the judicial hierarchy, and the unique responsibilities it performs within the Indian democratic structure. When we say the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India, we mean that it stands at the top of the entire judicial system, and no authority is higher in matters of law and justice. One major reason the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India is that it is the final court of appeal. All judgments from the high courts, and in certain matters even from tribunals and special courts, can ultimately be challenged before the Supreme Court. This means that the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India because its decisions are final, binding, and cannot be appealed to any higher judicial body. Once the Supreme Court makes a ruling, every other court must follow it. Another reason the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India is its role as the guardian of the Constitution. The Constitution of India is the supreme law of the land, and the Supreme Court is responsible for interpreting it, protecting it, and ensuring that all laws and actions, whether by Parliament, state governments, or public authorities, conform to constitutional principles. This central role in constitutional interpretation is a key factor in why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. Furthermore, the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India because it has the extraordinary power of judicial review. Judicial review allows the Supreme Court to examine the validity of laws, executive orders, and government decisions. If a law violates fundamental rights or contradicts constitutional provisions, the Supreme Court can strike it down. This authority to uphold or invalidate laws is essential in explaining why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. Additionally, the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India because it acts as the protector of citizens' fundamental rights. Under Article 32 of the Constitution, any individual can directly approach the Supreme Court if their fundamental rights are violated. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar even called Article 32 the heart and soul of the Constitution. This direct access further strengthens the position of the Supreme Court and is a major reason why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. The unifying role of the court also explains why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. India has multiple states, each with its own high court, but the Supreme Court ensures uniformity of law across all these states. When different high courts give conflicting judgments, the Supreme Court resolves the inconsistency. Because it maintains legal unity for the entire nation, the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. Another important factor is its advisory jurisdiction. Under Article 143, the President of India can seek the court's opinion on matters of national importance. Although the opinion is advisory, the very fact that the Constitution entrusts this responsibility to the Supreme Court shows why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. The Supreme Court also regulates the functioning of lower courts and ensures discipline within the judiciary. It has the authority to transfer cases, hear matters of national importance, and supervise the judicial system as a whole. This supervisory power further illustrates why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India. In summary, the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India because it is the final appellate court, the guardian of the Constitution, the protector of fundamental rights, the authority for judicial review, the unifier of legal principles, and the supervisory head of the entire judiciary. Its decisions set precedents that bind all other courts, ensuring consistency, fairness, and constitutional integrity. All these reasons combined clearly explain why the Supreme Court is considered the apex court of India.